What's up, AtoZSports here live on a Tuesday. The Titans have their man, Robert Saleh, named, or the news announced that he is going to be the next head coach. 11 p.m. Central Time, 11:02 is when I started seeing the text roll in. I didn't see him at 11:02.
I was about to say.
I saw him at a different time. We'll talk about that later. But you guys were ready, and that's great. That's what team does. Team picks each other up when news breaks when I'm asleep. You guys are ready, and you guys crushed it. By the way, great job overall on the coverage between for Easton, JT, the rest of our social media team behind the scenes at AtoZSports. When that news comes out super duper late, we were ready, and so we're gonna have a great show. Robert Saleh is the guy. There was a little bit of controversy over who hired him, why he was hired, why was it Robert Saleh over Matt Nagy. One thing I know, regardless of why it was done or who did it, it avoids a fan revolt, right? Because we talked about this yesterday. If it was Matt Nagy, and we're sitting here talking about Matt Nagy being the coach, revolt.
This year's Civil War is canceled. Come back next year.
I don't know if we can't come up with anything that sounds as good as Shiano Sunday for the Tennessee Vols fans. That happened. Get this, November 26th, 2017. I know that date. Because of how crazy that was.
How about the night they said no to Nagy?
That's way too long.
But it's really alliterative. I don't know.
It is. Everybody loves alliteration. But January 19th, the night they said no to Nagy, it just doesn't flow. But no, we're going to have a great show here on this Tuesday. Robert Saleh is the guy. Maybe we might give like an approval rating poll if we want to. We'll have a couple different questions hear about this. Who is his offensive coordinator? We'll go through the controversy of it all. But first, JT, I'll let you do the honors again here on this three-person show. Tell the people what they got to do.
Yeah, welcome in, everybody. Good to see all of you here. Maybe, I don't know, I can't speak on this, Austin, but maybe the record up there for most people in the waiting room waiting for a show before we kick off this morning. I don't want to.
142.
I don't want to put that in the. I don't want to put that in the history books right there, but it feels narratively correct. Even though
I can't remember. I'll think on that.
Yeah. Either way,
recent history for sure.
Absolutely. Good to see all of you guys in here. Nonetheless,
no, the Week 18 game day show waiting room was pretty heavy.
There's 142 people watching that thing, let alone waiting on it.
Either way, we are excited to be here with you this morning. When they said 3-person show tomorrow, someone asked that on Twitter. I said, oh yes, and we will be heavily caffeinated because me and Easton stayed up last night working the midnight oil to get some content out to you. Meanwhile, I was in the morning show group chats, banging my pots and pans, being like, Austin, wake up, wake up, wake up. It's time to go. Nothing from him. He gets a little bit of a surprise at 4 a.m. this morning.
346.
There you go. Good to see all of you guys. Need a couple things from you guys before we break down what is sure to be a crazy show this morning. If you're watching on YouTube, we appreciate a lot of you guys watching over there on YouTube. Show us your appreciation and show us your excitement for Robert Saleh as the next Tennessee Titans head coach by hitting that like button, sharing the show with a friend, Titans fan in your life that wants to talk about Robert Saleh as your new head coach this morning. Hit that like, hit the comment section, hit that subscribe. It does all of the things that the algorithm does that we do not understand to get this show on as many Titans fans feeds as possible. Also, if you're watching on Facebook, we appreciate you guys over there as well. Hit that like button, like the show, share the show with a friend, hit that share button in the bottom right corner. Only a third of you guys have liked the show this morning on Facebook. Need to get that up this morning. Absolutely. Lock in, like the show, as our friend King VC would say, and let's get this thing rolling, Austin.
Yep, stood officially welcome to AtoZSports here live on a Tuesday. I'm Austin Stanley alongside JT Runke and Easton Freeze. We are AtoZSports powered by the BTA Sports app, making you a better sports better. You better jump on that. You get championship games and the big one coming up here with BTA Sports. But we go live every weekday morning at 8 Central Time on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Links to the show segment by segment on our Twitter X timeline. Follow us there at AtoZSports. More content across the board for our Titans coverage on Instagram, TikTok, and Threads. I'm doing this. I'm pasting a Google preferred source link there in the chat. So if you haven't watched the show in a while or new to the show because the Titans just hired Robert Saleh, you can follow AtoZSports on Google. You click that link. It makes you a preferred source for anything you Google. Titans coaching updates, Titans offensive coordinator search, Titans coaching staff, Titans free agency, Titans draft. That we're going to be doing all offseason long, and AtoZSports will show up as a preferred source. That's a big deal for everybody involved. Do have to thank our sponsors. They make it happen for us as they help you out as well. Wilson County Hyundai, make them a part of your new car buying process in Lebanon, wilsoncountyhyundai.com. The Bone and Joint Institute, the region's destination for comprehensive orthopedic and sports medicine care. Barton Drury Insurance Group, customized solutions for all of your insurance needs. They're local and online at bartondrury.com. And Window Nation, take advantage of their January deal of buy 4 windows, get 4 windows for free, 0% financing for up to 2 years. A free estimate at windownation.com. That's a crazy deal. Na to Nagy. How about that one? On January 19th is Na to Nagy. Is that better than
we'll keep workshopping it.
Yeah. The night they said no to Nagy.
I do like that. Long. I do like that.
It's very poetic. It's very old English.
It feels like Game of Thronesy to me.
It does.
That's what I'm saying. It's like they're going to carve that into a tree somewhere.
It's like the Battle of Blackwater. This is season 1 of Game of Thrones.
That's right.
All right, so
it has weight.
Last night, the national championship game ends. Fernando Mendoza beats Miami in poetic fashion. A really great game, by the way. And we're texting, and we're like, Easton's like, I feel like I need to stay up a little bit longer. I feel like we need to be here. And a lot of this is playing out, and I'm like, I'm going to go to bed. So at 10:46, I tweeted about Buck Rising, said, you're the biggest bandwagon spoiled college football fan in the world. And then I texted him, said, I hate you. I'm very jealous. I'm happy for you.
I can't stand the guy.
Don't do anything stupid.
No, get arrested.
I told Buck, do not do anything stupid. It's too stupid to use for content. So there's a caveat to that. So and then Buck texted me back at 6 o'clock this morning, said I'm about to throw up because he's on the way back from the game. So after all that happens, I go to bed at 10:45. I wake up a few hours later, 3:45, and I see 50 text messages. Damn it. Because 15 minutes later, Adam Schefter, ESPN sources, the Titans are working to finalize a deal to hire 49ers defensive coordinator Robert Saleh as their new coach. Saleh spent Monday in Tennessee with the Titans and the two sides impressed each other enough to move forward together. So Easton and JT, I will let you guys take through your initial reactions on Saleh being the guy before we get to some of the controversy that quickly followed in the late hours of Monday night and the early hours of Sunday morning.
Yeah, well, I'll be the first to say that there was some doubt in my mind when that Titans presser from the team and Jim Wyatt comes out saying, we've completed an interview with Nagy and Robert Saleh. And I was like, man, they let him leave the building. They let him get away. He's going to be on the plane tomorrow morning to Arizona. It's over. It's now Matt Nagy or a glimmer of hope in Sean McDermott down the line. People, there credit to some Titan fans that said the Dolphins did the same thing. Kind of, it was a little bit different in my opinion though, because we all knew, like everyone and their mother in Miami knew that Jeff Hafley was going to be that guy 24 to 48 hours before he got to Miami. A little bit different here with the Titans, but it ends up working out the same way. The Titans say that they complete that interview. They do indeed not let him leave Nashville, and he is the head coach of the Tennessee Titans. So a wild turn of events there in the 2 hours that followed after that tweet.
I had plausible deniability because you're right, Austin. They send out that press release at, when was that, 8:30 or something, like halftime of the national championship game. Mm-hmm. And, we're all unsure what to do with it. Yesterday is one of my least favorite days of this job, just because it is, I'm in prison all day long. I sat at my desk for more hours of the day yesterday than I have maybe ever at this desk, just staring blankly at the wall, at my screen, refreshing my phone, waiting and waiting and waiting. knowing that something eventually is going to be coming. I can't go anywhere or do anything or commit to anything. I can't help my wife with our child. She can't, yesterday she's like, can I go to the grocery store real quick? I'm like, not really, because if you go for 40 minutes and if 5 minutes after you leave, this news comes out, I'm going to have to let our kid just wander the neighborhood because I can't supervise her any longer. So
Instacart that thing. Come on.
Yeah. So it just in our child is sick because the sickness that I had last week I gave to her. So just a terrible turn of events. I'm like, I'm sorry. It's just one of those days. And my head had hit the pillows. I had PJs on, lights out. My phone was on my charger no more than 30, 60 seconds before it started blowing up. And I was actually talking to my wife, ignoring it. And she says to me, you think that's a coach? And I go, no. And then I pick it up. I go, God, yes, it is. And she goes, are you going to get up and work now? And I go, yeah, I am. I thought long and hard about just pretending that I didn't see it and going to sleep. I probably could have gotten away with it, but that's just not the way that we roll around here. And then I get on the horn with JT, and I'm like, Austin is going to freak when he sees this at 3 a.m. So it came eventually. I definitely think that the whole Arizona plane situation was a classic example of the whole leverage, you better sign me now or lose me later kind of deal that we've seen the Titans be on the wrong side of for 3 coaches in a row before ultimately signing with Saleh. I think it's fair for us on this show to do a little victory lapping around the board because Austin, yesterday your prediction was Saleh. Ultimately today you were off by 60 minutes, but otherwise you were correct, right?
You said, right. Dang, I did say Tuesday.
You were very close to having the day as well.
That was before the plane Arizona thing happened.
I see. Yeah. JT and I, did our first show kind of talking through candidates back in October, and I wrote an article profiling how Saleh was my choice back then for the front runner for this team for 3 simple reasons. One, we had a pretty good reason to believe that he was interested in this job in particular, but also in getting back into head coaching soon because of a lot of different things we had heard, but chiefly amongst them, very seriously interviewing for head coach jobs last year and very nearly getting the Jacksonville Jaguars head coach job. So he wanted back in. Number 2, he has experience, and it's very clear that that's what this Titans search committee was looking for. They were looking for a guy who either was a second-time head coach or has years of play calling experience, and Saleh has those things both in spades. And number 3, he is somebody that is an alpha. I don't think this Titans leadership group is scared of an alpha in the way that I think they kind of got at the end of the Vrabel tenure anymore. I don't think Mike Borgonzi is scared of an alpha. I think that he feels he can work with and utilize the skill set of an alpha. And I don't think anybody's disputing the idea that Robert Saleh, if anything else, he's an alpha, Austin. You are muted.
Thank you. So calling a timeout on that thing. I do think Vrabel was overpowering and wanted more and more power because a GM got fired above him, and that's where Vrabel was taking a swing, right?
Yes.
This is the other way around where you have a GM purposely hire the head coach. So I don't think the alpha dynamic was a threat overall, because let's also think about this. Rand Carthon and Robert Saleh are pretty much boys too, because those Niners guys run deep and tight.
This is true.
And so, I don't.
It was a reason I heard from more than one person about why they wouldn't hire Saleh.
Yeah. I even asked somebody who knows Rand Carthon and sees Rand Carthon today, like, hey, do you think Rand would tell Robert Saleh to not take the Titans job because of what happened to him? And they basically said, no, Rand doesn't go like that. Rand's like totally fine. Like he's just ho-hum doing his deal. So not to cut you off, but you can keep going.
Well, so and I had essentially made my point. The 3 reasons being he wanted back in, he has the experience they were looking for, and third, he is an alpha who is going to be able to set a bedrock of culture for this team. We've talked about what we think culture actually is and what stokes the flames of culture, and the players are a very underrated, I think, chief element of that they're the important part of that. But having a head coach who establishes the baseline of that culture and is somebody that gets their players to buy into their message and keep rolling in the same direction when things get a little choppy. That matters a lot. And by all accounts, Robert Saleh is that kind of guy.
All right, so before we get to the controversy, let's kind of put together a little bit of the Robert Saleh profile. As we do know that he has been the Niners defensive coordinator this past year. After his stint with the Jets, 3+ years, a 20-36 record, wins versus losses with the Jets in 3+ years. He ended last season after getting fired by hanging out with his buddy Matt LaFleur in Green Bay as a consultant on the offensive side of the ball. And then was the defensive coordinator in San Francisco with Kyle Shanahan from Kyle Shanahan's beginning for the first 4 years of that stint. The Jags, he's got a few years in the AFC South with the Jags and the Texans, dating all the way back. He's also worked with DeMeco Ryans, and he publicly hates Liam Cohen. So there's a lot of good things that he has going on for him for being the Titans head coach. Now, speaking of the player thing, I did see this. Mike Herndon tweeted this out, which was a quote from Mike Silver from The Athletic. This is from George Kittle and Brock Purdy with the Niners. Quote, Saleh is the best signing we've ever had. All-pro tight end and Nashville native for the future, who's recovering from an Achilles pop, but at 32 years old, who knows? But he says, I've been saying that since OTAs. It's not just how smart he is, but his juice. He's inspirational. He's great in meetings. His energy is infectious every single day, and he gets our young guys ready. So that is all-world, all-pro tight end George Kittle. And then added quarterback Brock Purdy, quote, Saleh brings a different kind of energy to the building. He's dialing it up. He's really, really smart, and it's helping us a lot. And so when you watch the Niners defense fall apart because of injuries, yet still put together a 12-win season, they win a playoff game before even more injuries happen, and the wheels totally fall off in Seattle. No fault of anybody's other than the injury bug is to blame there. So you see that. You go look at his defensive numbers. This is from Benjamin Solak. Since 2021, Saleh's first season in New York, the Jets defense is first in points allowed per drive, first in EPA per play, third in success rate, despite playing the fourth most snaps over that stretch. Saleh never solved the quarterback problem, but man, he delivered on defense. So there's a lot of really good stuff there with Robert Saleh, the defensive mind and the head coach and the energy and the person, with a couple highly paid Niners talking big things about it. Now, the controversy. So Easton, this red blurb is what kind of stirred things up, because this was on ESPN.com, Teron Davenport, after the news break from Adam Schefter's Twitter. Titans general manager Mike Bergonzi had leaned toward Matt Nagy given their time together in Kansas City, where Bergonzi had been assistant GM. However, encouragement from team ownership pushed the decision to Saleh, according to a source. Now, Teron comes out and clarifies this. Titans GM Mike Bergonzi ultimately made the decision to hire Robert Saleh. Monday's visit swayed the decision in Saleh's favor. Saleh impressed Bergonzi and the group enough to conclude that he was the best candidate for the job. All right. So now we've got a big audience in here. If you have not liked the show, please do that. That would be awesome. And shout out King VC, who says, lock in, like the show. If you haven't liked it on Facebook or YouTube, please do that. We're going to ask this question now here. Do you think Robert Saleh truly beat out Matt Nagy for the job, or did the Titans cave to their fans? Because we've been talking about for weeks or longer that they cannot hire Matt Nagy or there will be a revolt. We've done polls. I think there were 2 polls done by Easton on Twitter and here on the show yesterday, where 15% of the vote was Matt Nagy, 85% Robert Saleh. So the question, do you think Robert Saleh truly beat out Matt Nagy, or did the Titans cave to you guys, the fans? So we'll put that up there. I see somebody posted that in the chat, probably JT, because he's more responsible when it comes to that. So in that case, Easton, tell us all about our friends about the Bone and Joint Institute.
Dadgummit. Well, you know what? I do enjoy telling people about our friends at the Bone and Joint Institute. They are it's a 3-person show. Excuse me.
Of course.
Excuse me.
I told you JT was more responsible.
Listen, when we hired JT, I told you he's a better producer than I am. I told you this.
That's true.
Back in the day, he was producer JT. He was in the name and everything. we have a great relationship with our friends at the Bone and Joint Institute. And if you have an injury of any kind, if any part of your body is broken, can we please recommend them to you? Because they will get you right. Go to boneandjointtn.org right now for the region's destination for comprehensive orthopedics and sports medicine. They are located in the Franklin area, just a quick shot down I-65 if you're in Nashville. Big, beautiful building off the interstate. You can't miss it. And whenever you get hurt in life, you have to know who you can trust. We trust our friends at BJI. They have over a dozen specialists who will help you through any type of injury. State-of-the-art rehab facility on campus. They help you through your recovery in-house. They do it all in-house for your convenience. Clinic, testing, imaging, surgery, and rehab. Schedule an appointment today by going to boneandjointtn.org.
Also brought to you by our friends over at BTA Sports. BTA Sports is better for bettors. No better time to get in with our friends at BTA than right now. Use that code ATOZSports when you download the app and sign up, using that code to get a 14-day free trial that gets you through the AFC and NFC Championship. We talked about how they were right on the money yesterday with that Patriots-Texans one that was the biggest spread, the biggest outlier between BTA and the books this past divisional week. They get that one absolutely right on the money. Had it at 12. Patriots won by 12. So you got to use our friends if you want to make a little dough on the AFC NFC Championship this weekend. And then just $79.99 for the entirety of the 2026 sports season, which will include the MLB season, the last one potentially of our lifetimes. Also, the NFL 2026 season and potentially college sports on the horizon. No better time to get in with our friends than right now at BTA Sports, which is indeed better for bettors.
All right, so I'm getting ready to put up a YouTube poll, but I will send JT to the chat because we've already established why. And then I will put up this YouTube poll. Do you believe, the audience here, a lot of you guys here, so hit that like button. Thank you guys for doing that. Do you believe Robert Saleh truly beat out Matt Nagy for the job, or did the Titans cave to their fan base and avoiding the Matt Nagy revolt?
Yeah, Jack kicks us off here this morning and says the Titans caved. I can't assume competence with this organization. Steve also says they caved. Koss says they caved big time. JR, no, I think they caved to fans, but Saleh is the better coach. They definitely caved. They saw the outrage. Titans Kyle says Saleh won in his opinion. He showed them enough to make the switch potentially. Tiffany says they caved. Joe says they got bullied. Tall Texan says they hopefully beat him out. Never let the fans run this team. We know that from Draft Day, the movie. If you watch that one, that's for sure. I'm What's Popular says truly beat out Nagy. Timothy says he thinks it was about leadership. Treadheaded says that Amy took over. Chris also believes that Amy took over. Saleh won. Saleh beat him out. Caved. Let's see. I mean, I'm interested to see the split on the poll because there's Ira Hoshi thinks that they caved, but good for real for them listening to the fans. Just Smash thinks that Amy Adams Strunk caved to the decision of well, I guess it would be the other way around, right? Mike Borgonzi caved.
Yes, I would, because we kind of talked that the ultimate sales pitch was Mike Borgonzi to Amy Adams Strunk. Here is who I want to hire. Mm-hmm. And, my standpoint for several weeks now is at one point I called Matt Nagy unhireable by the Titans because of the relationship with Borgonzi, the assumption of the buddy hire, going all up and down through the candy cane forest and over the hills and through the woods to hire your friend after interviewing 16 guys. That smells funny, right? And especially when the guy you hire has this stink attached to his name, which I admit is also unfair and unnecessary for Matt Nagy. I think he's a fine head coach candidate. I think the Titans could have done way worse. But my answer is I think the Titans caved, because I'll ask both of you guys, if Matt Nagy did not have a hate towards him from a lot of NFL fan bases, would he have been the hire? If there was not a negative narrative on Matt Nagy, he would be the Titans head coach. I don't know how he wouldn't be.
I think you also can consider the fact that, you could also play devil's advocate in the way of if Mike Borgonzi had simply not crossed paths with Nagy, if Nagy would have gone somewhere else after the Bears and been an offensive coordinator somewhere.
And not gone back to the Chiefs, because they spent 8 seasons together, Borgonzi and Nagy. It was like 6 before Nagy went to the Bears, and then 2 when he came back before Borgonzi came here.
Right.
So,
if he didn't have those 2 to rekindle that.
Right. Because let's just look at it. Because people are going to bring up the records. 20-36, 20-36, 20-36. That is the win-loss record of Robert Saleh in 3+ years with the New York Football Jets. On paper, it looks ridiculous that the Titans, a team with a second-year quarterback who showed great flashes and had comps to Patrick Mahomes of play style comps, not level comps, play style comps of Patrick Mahomes. It looks ridiculous to hire a 20-36 record defensive-minded head coach over Matt Nagy, who has a 34-31 record as a head coach with the Bears, took Mitch Trubisky to the playoffs twice, and also coached Patrick Mahomes for like 4 or 5 years of his career. Like, that sounds insane and backwards. But everybody is celebrating the fact that they hired Saleh and not Nagy because of this narrative, right? So, Easton, you got something to say?
I do generally find it a little bit funny. Like, this is a little bit of a Rorschach test for whether you just want to be mad about it or not. Because if they had hired Nagy, then it would be very easy to be angry at them for making the Buddy hire. And if in this world that we live in, they didn't hire Nagy, you can be mad at them for caving to the mob about the Buddy hire. So, like, everything about the Matt Nagy candidacy was a damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Yep.
Every single element of it was you can see in it what you want to see and feel how you want to feel. We bring up the ESPN thing to kind of set the table, frankly, because a lot of people saw that. It was a very big thing last night, and we don't want to stick our nose somewhere that it doesn't belong. We really only bring it up because it was a big deal, and I think it's important to amplify the clarity here. I certainly think that probably some. I don't want to speculate. This sounds like the kind of thing where different sources maybe have different motivations for what they have to say. But maybe more importantly, in this case, an example of sourced information lacking the necessary context to accurately understand what happened. And it sounds like that's what happened with TD, and he came out and quickly made it right. So that is what it is. What I want to talk about is the bigger picture, because whether that had come out in ESPN or not, obviously we would still be talking about what I wrote about at AtoZSports.com yesterday, the weight of what a Nagy decision would mean, and how it does feel, like you said, Austin, like something that they almost couldn't do even if they wanted to. Mm-hmm. And we'll probably never know publicly just how big that loomed over their heads as they were going through this process. It certainly is possible that Saleh was their target, was a guy that came in the 5 hours of meetings yesterday. They really did just fall in love with him, and it was easy for them to wipe their hands clean and say, he's the best. He's our guy. There's nothing. It is possible that happened.
The only 5 hours they've ever been around Robert Saleh outside of a football field on opposite sidelines, right?
I'm just saying it's certainly possible that happened. I think the more likely thing is that, as is the case most times in life, the truth is somewhere in the middle. The Nagy situation was consciously or subconsciously on their minds as they were kind of like this time last year with the GM search, realizing, man, we've got to do what we feel is best for this franchise, for this organization, not just in terms of winning, but in terms of fan relations. And we've got a new stadium coming. We've got all these new exciting things, and we're trying to get back into relevancy, and we're trying to maintain and repair image of certain people in the organization. All of these things are in consideration. Mm-hmm. But first and foremost, winning ball games and getting the coach that's best for the Tennessee Titans, regardless of our personal relationships and feelings and desires for guys. And I'd imagine the Mike Borgonzi and Matt Nagy conversation, as was the case with John Eric Sullivan and Chad Brinker this time last year, probably a difficult one. He clearly was the second place finisher in this, Matt Nagy. I think it is interesting to consider had the 49ers won this weekend and you couldn't have brought Robert Saleh in person until next week. What does that world look like? All of these things. Had Robert Saleh's interest in the team not been as strong as it was, had they not been his top option, what does that look like? Does he want to hold out and conduct a Ravens and a Steelers and a Cardinals interview first, a Bills interview first? All of these things. The stars aligned. He wanted the Titans. The Titans decided that they wanted him. We'll never know how much of that decision was about Matt Nagy and what it meant to hire Matt Nagy.
Yeah.
But I do think it's an interesting part of the equation.
It absolutely is. Want to give a quick mention here. We've got K Bulla, who just drops $19.99 in the chat with no context or words.
Thank you, K Bulla.
Appreciate.
I was
that.
looking. I was making sure it wasn't a mistake. I've been looking through and making sure that they didn't also like.
Well, K
type
Bulla,
in
if
the
you have
chat.
something you'd like to say,
You
throw it
can
in the
say
chat.
it.
I'm
We
keeping a
will
watchful
get to
eye.
it. We'll
Say
keep
it
an eye
for
out for
free.
K Bulla
You don't-
comments.
Yeah, you don't
But
have to.
if
pay
it is
to-
just that, thank you.
So Big Rich comes in with a couple super chats that are on topic. If you have super chats, we usually try to get to those and spend more time on them towards the end of the show, unless they fit the current flow.
Hey, but
Big
if you
Rich
are
says-
in line, stay in line. We will get to
Yes, yes. I think Saleh was always the first choice until Harbaugh came free. They waited on the 49ers to the 49ers loss, skipped his first Zoom and interviewed him after Nagy. The follow-up here from C. Rich says, I don't care what fans would do. They don't do this without confidence and assurances this was planned. So I think if you were pro Saleh won the job and beat out Matt Nagy for the job, then I believe that you align with those two super chat comments that it was all about when the Niners lost and when they could bring him in person.
And that's a perfectly reasonable explanation. I mean, there absolutely is something to the fact that they felt good about enough about a guy they did not know to skip the initial interview.
I just think it's again, just as wild it is on paper for you to hire the 20-36 head coach over the defensive head coach, over the 34-31 offensive head coach who went to 2 playoffs after talking with him and meeting with him for 5 hours, where you have a lot of exposure to the guy who has a better record. Now, maybe, I don't know, like it's just a weird situation that it's very thick with irony and things that you would think contradict each other. But again, I like the hire of Robert Saleh over Matt Nagy. And we'll talk about Matt Nagy, I'm sure, a little bit more. And then Caps just says, I hit my bet on Saleh. Good call, Easton, 4-4. Yeah, Easton is
Don't look now.
batting 1,000 when it comes to his head coaching predictions.
It's going so well. I have to go back in there today and put a Bills prediction in there just on the off chance I get all of them. I feel like I need for the record to.
I would
make
keep
a pick
it.
on that.
Maybe.
People online were asking. They need to know because they think I know everything, and I don't. But right now they think so, so I need to capitalize on that.
Jamar and others, and I'm not. Jamar says, but Austin, the Jets quarterback situation was atrocious. Oh, I'm not dismissing that. I'm just saying, on paper, it looks silly that you're doing this, but you have to dig more. It's not just about the on paper, right? Because on paper, Mike Vrabel deserved to be fired. He was 6 of his in 18 in his last 24 games, and then he was trying to fight for too much power and overplayed his hand and deserved to get fired. But now he's in the AFC Championship game playing against Jared Stidham, and he's going to go to the Super Bowl. Book it, right? And so, like, I think
Heard it here first.
I mean, yeah.
I mean, you didn't actually, but
No, everybody was saying that as soon as Bo Nix, as soon as CJ Stroud threw his interception in the first half, and Bo Nix's ankle was broken, everybody's like, "Oh, Mike Vrabel's going to the Super Bowl, guys."
y'all are sleeping on Stidham.
Yeah,
It's a conversation for later this week.
for sure.
I will add to that real quick to kind of wrap up that side of the conversation. When Teron Davenport does clarify, there was some more digging that he did and took to some Twitter spaces last night, and in the Midnight Oil, digging through that, Teron did touch on the fact that on further digging, he believes that Robert Saleh came in and essentially knocked their socks off, took the building by storm, kind of made them have to reevaluate. So I think you are right in the sense that there is a middle ground here in which they come in a little bit. I still believe this a little bit narratively, that the Titans very well could have said, Matt Nagy's our guy, but Robert Saleh is the final boss. He is the guy that if we're going to not make this decision and go a different way, this is the guy that we think has the best chance to sway us the other way, the guy to potentially come in here and have the opportunity to essentially come in and change our minds. And so I think that's also fair, because you go back to what we just posted on the screen there with George Kittle, with Brock Purdy. He is a guy that is infectious. He is a guy that the energy he brings, not even just in a locker room, but just himself, is the guy that can take a room by storm, no matter what room that is, whether it's executives, whether it's the owner, whether it's the players. That's just kind of who he is. And that's why I thought he was a great culture fit and the guy all along that I thought could do well for this organization. And so to me, that feels like it could also be yet another path that the Titans took here yesterday. And I think you do bring up a good point, though, there, Austin, in which does 5 hours after this entire saga really amount to that side of things? Where is that enough? I think that's a question for Mike Borgonzi, because the entirety of this cycle was Mike Borgonzi saying that the GM and the head coach need to be in lockstep. They need to have a great relationship. And it sounds like if you have two candidates, one that you've only talked to for 5 hours before hiring and have no former relationship there directly, or the guy that you've known for 8 years and has survived the other 15 candidate interviews, there's a little bit of a disconnect there from what you've said all along in the fact that I think Mike Borgonzi is going to have some explaining to do on if this is the correct fit and how this fit came to be.
All right, so a couple things here. I'm going to get to the YouTube poll update. Make sure you hit that like button if you haven't yet. We're getting a lot of likes in here, so we appreciate you guys quite a bit. We're going to get to super chats. You don't have to give super chats, but if you do, we thank you gratefully there. Two things. The YouTube poll. I voted the Titans caved. There are over 300 votes, so there's like over half of you guys, well over half of you guys haven't even voted on the YouTube poll yet. So you're just sitting there staring at it, which is kind of weird. Just do if I'm you, I pick
You're still
one.
Thinking,
so just
Austin.
Get it out of the way. If you vote on it,
if I'm watching a video and there's something I can click on or buttons I can press, I'm pressing those buttons.
That's
I bet you are iPad baby.
A child, right? We know that. You have to get that. Yeah. No, but the YouTube poll is very, very heavily not what I voted. I voted Titans cave to their fans. 73% Saleh beat out Nagy for the job. Now, I find this hilarious because you guys are all Titans fans. You're going to vote. You're like like the happiest most people are like right after the head coach press conference. And everybody's like, hell yeah, let's go. I'm in. He won the presser. Let's freaking ride. And people are more likely to vote the way that it went than what they don't think. So I think the Titans cave to an extent here. So 73% Saleh beat out Nagy for the job. The other thing I wanted to get to from Chris Easton, you got to shave your head now.
Yeah, once this
I did shave my head.
Let's see it.
It's under my hat.
Yeah, let's see it.
What?
You have to be at the Senior Bowl with a shaved head next week.
Why?
That'd be crazy. Or you're fired? Is that the ultimatum? I cannot do that on a live video stream.
I was about to say, I smell a lawsuit.
God, I know. I do not condone the joke that JT just told.
Well, but that's the thing is that everyone knows this is well known, well established. This is a comedy show. Nothing I say is serious unless you agree with me, in which case I'm being serious.
You have to. Curtis says it's Tennessee. You can do that. Oh, okay. Well, there you go.
Well,
I don't know for sure. That was also a joke.
Curtis, see me after class. I don't appreciate that.
So JT, you have to shave your head before you hit Mobile.
Me
next week. I'm sorry, Easton.
You heard it here. Oh, hey, JT, shave that head, baby.
both of you shave
Maybe then
your
you'll
head.
have a more punchable face.
Oh man, yeah, that'll up your punchable face ranking.
It definitely will.
So all right, let's go ahead and get to this because there's a comment here from Charles Barnes that I think is worthy of bringing up. Essentially, by choosing Saleh, you can still get Nagy, but if you choose Nagy, you lose Saleh. That is correct.
True.
Right? Absolutely correct. So now we're going to ask this question. So I'm going to cancel in one poll. Another 50 of you voted in that. So there you go. I ended one poll. 73% think Saleh beat out Nagy. I'm going to start a new poll here momentarily. That new poll, actually, no, I can't put up a poll on this one. I'm silly. What percentage chance is Robert Saleh's offensive coordinator someone the Titans have already interviewed for the head coaching job? What percentage chance is Robert Saleh's offensive coordinator somebody the Titans interviewed for the head coaching job?
You could put up a poll and just have 100 different answers.
I only have 4 slots. I can maybe figure out how to group those together in a moment. But first, I got to tell you guys about my phenomenal windows that I got from Window Nation.
Oh, here we go.
WindowNation.com is where to go for a free estimate. They are incredible. I'm not even joking. They're great. We have them come to our house and check out our current windows that we had. We bought the house a little over 2 years ago, and we said the window replacement is on the long-term gonna replace those things list. And Window Nation came up. They had a buy 2, get 2 free in September. We jumped on that, saved thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars on our windows. We've also got 0% financing for however long a time, no payments for several months, whatever that is, because that fit for us. There's so many different ways you can finance these windows. You can get 0% financing for up to 2 years and buy 4 windows, get 4 windows for free through the end of January. It's a super easy, no pressure estimate. All you gotta do, windownation.com, click an estimate button, and you fill out your address. And they call you and say, hey, what time can we come? You pick a time that works. They come up, they do like an hour presentation. It's actually really cool. It's kind of like a science experiment in your living room. So if you get kids, they'll like it too. You'll learn something. And if you don't need new windows, okay, no sweat. But if you want new windows, they can help you out and help you save money on your bills and up the value of your home, just like we did. WindowNation.com.
Also, shout out our friends, BTA Sports, better for betters. Once again, use that code ATOZSports when you download the app by clicking that link in the show description or right below the title on Facebook to get a 14-day free trial, $79.99. After that, for the entirety of the 2026 sports season, no better deal than with us right now for BTA Sports, which is indeed better for betters.
All right, Easton, I'll send you the chat this time. What percent chance is Robert Saleh's offensive coordinator someone the Titans interviewed for the head coach job? So that would kind of be how, I guess, before I send you the chat, how many options are those, right? Matt Nagy, right? It would not be Mike McCarthy. They did not get to Cliff Kingsbury, but it's really Matt Nagy and
I see 5 options.
5
for coordinators. Yes.
Okay.
I have them written down.
Ooh,
you can
good
take
call.
this off the screen.
Good call. There are more. You're right. Good call. So before you give those 5, I'll let you hit out the percentage in the chat. What percent chance the Titans interview Robert Saleh's future offensive coordinator for the head coach job?
By the way, on the shaven head front, can you just imagine in the next week or so, I meet Robert Saleh for the first time. It's like, hey man, Easton Freeze, AtoZSports, nice to meet you. I usually have hair. I had to shave my head because you got named the head coach. I would look like some fanboy freak weirdo.
No way, man. Look.
Yeah. And then he'd never talk to me again. It'd be great. Bryce Howard says 100% chance. He thinks it's already locked in. Somebody that they interviewed is going to be a coordinator for this team. Big 2033 says 75%, 100% chance, 100% chance. Wow, people are very confident about this. 65, 90. What is that? 10,000? It's a lot of percentage points. 67, hey, we're still doing that. 30, 69%, still doing that. 50, 99.9, 60, 21, 56, 75. I'm rattling these off quickly. 75, 0, so 1 real doubter. 33, 80, just to show that 65, 82, 75, 85.732. Very scientific. The vast majority of people believe there is a, 3/4 or better chance, it sounds like, that the Titans have recently talked to at least one soon-to-be coordinator for the Robert Saleh head coach tenure. Should I address the list?
Well, I'm going to put out the obvious first because I saw this one from Connor Hughes, who covers the New York Jets. There was talk early on that Robert Saleh, had he gotten another head coach opportunity, wanted to take Mike McDaniel with him as offensive coordinator, I'm told. The two work together in San Francisco. We'll see if that happens. That would do wonders for the Titans. So Mike McDaniel, I think, is the most. It would do wonders.
Not reporting this, but I will say I feel pretty certain that Robert Saleh would like to do that. I think that Robert would enjoy Mike McDaniel as his offensive coordinator, as would, it seems, the rest of the whole freaking league. So that part's probably true. It's just a matter of whether or not he can convince his old buddy to come on down.
Hey, well, let's say this though.
Excuse me, 31 teams. The Lions came out and said we're good.
Mike McDaniel has gone on a long tour, including a stop in B&A, where he's wearing a fancy suit. I don't know if you guys saw that picture or not, but
needed an iron. Yeah.
Yeah. He was busy. He's been a lot of different places talking about head coach or offensive coordinator jobs. And then he's taking his time. That came out when? Right before the Niners lost. Right before his buddy Robert Saleh was available to actually go do the thing. Right before Robert Saleh got a head coaching job with the Titans, who just happened to have a young quarterback that needs an offensive coordinator with Robert Saleh. I think he's just, and the Chiefs have Eric Bieniemy, so there's another team that's off the list.
Hey, by the way,
I don't think Kevin Stefanski is going to hire one, so there's another one off the list. We can just keep on cracking it, whittling it down. If you want to?
You don't think he's going to hire one?
I don't think he's going to hire Mike McDaniel.
Okay, it's just
Kevin Stefanski.
Just no OC. No, I hear what you're saying. Although he play caller sometimes not. I do, by the way, want to bring up, this is sort of relevant to this. As crazy as the head coach carousel is this year, 10 openings, the offensive coordinator carousel is beyond the pale ridiculous. I was counting this up yesterday just because it felt like it was more than half the league, and it turns out it is more than half the league. Here are the teams that are going to be looking for a new offensive coordinator, and it is going to be at least literally half the league. You've got 10 new coaching staffs, right? New head coaches. And on top of that, the Lions, the Buccaneers, the Commanders, the Chargers, the Chiefs, the Eagles, maybe the Bengals, maybe the Seahawks, maybe the Jaguars, maybe the 49ers, and maybe the Rams. That is between 16 and 21 offensive coordinator openings. These dudes are literally just swapping polos and hats. They should write in them with Sharpie like you do textbooks in high school and be like, oh, yeah, your brother had this book 3 years ago, with all of their gear, and just send it around to one another, because this is what we're doing. And I've spoken to some people that are around the whole coordinator waiting period. As was the case with Harbaugh in the head coaching cycle, Mike McDaniel, and this is not revelatory, but just for the record, he is the starter pistol for that whole system. I know that we've seen a couple of... He is the John
Harbaugh of offensive coordinator hires.
Right, now, not exactly literally, right, because we've seen the Commanders name an OC, we've seen the Lions name an OC already, but those are teams that decided that they liked Mike. He just was not what they needed for their system, for what their team was looking for.
Yeah.
The vast majority of the league, and it really is the majority of the league because of how many teams are looking for one, are waiting for him to make a decision before they start sifting their pieces into place.
Yeah, absolutely. Also, you can touch on that. If you think Titans fans were freaking out about potentially hiring Matt Nagy, just go look at what's going on in Detroit after hiring Drew Petzing.
Drew Petzing.
I absolutely agree that it is kind of that starter pistol, because, and there is, I think, another level to that. I believe I saw yesterday that not only were the Raiders in Miami to talk, or, to look at Fernando Mendoza, obviously their projected number 1 overall pick. They were at the game last night, but also meeting once again with Mike McDaniel. Like, he still is in that mix for a head coaching, which, I mean, if you have the opportunity, I think McDaniel, especially with how many head coaching opportunities he's been looking at, ultimately, I think he would prefer a head coaching opportunity than to sit out. Now, that's just me going on what I think to know about the guy. That's not anything that I know for sure, but I think you could look at McDaniel with with Fernando Mendoza, Brock Bowers, and Ashton Genty and say that may be something he could potentially look at and say that's a interesting opportunity to be the head coach there. Or, right, you go back to the OC pool, and I do believe that if you look around the league at some of the all of the offensive coordinator jobs, the Titans are actually, this is an area where I do believe that they are one of the best fits. Not only do you get to work with your buddy from San Francisco and create a really easy culture to fit right back into with Robert Saleh, but also I think you have a lot of intriguing pieces to work with, especially like Cam Ward.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so Mike McDaniel's the obvious, right? And
an interesting note from Connor Orr a couple of minutes ago, by the way, just to kind of supplement our conversation. A note on Saleh regarding the Titans hire. I heard his OC plan was incredibly detailed, comprehensive, and team-specific, which likely eased concern for Tennessee about hiring a defensive coach. There's a ton of moving parts when it comes to OC candidates this time of year, as we just discussed, but he has a deeper well, Robert Saleh does, to access than most. Would we like to now discuss the list of coordinators the Titans may have already interviewed?
In a second, but Cable came back. So second super chat, big one.
Whoa!
I'm independently financing JT upgrading his 8-bit streaming camera to one that can focus like Austin's.
That's just called getting me an actual background and not using a green screen. That's what that is.
Hey, any morning where Easton's setup isn't the topic of discussion is a win for me.
Yeah, right.
Crazy.
All right, so now we can officially get to the. If you spend $50 on a super chat, you will jump the line. Just a heads up, like Robert Saleh. So
if you leave a super chat of $150, I will actually shit. No, I'm kidding.
No,
he'll do it too. I stopped because he will probably do it, and then I'll be financially obligated. Here's the list of guys they interviewed. Now I know we're talking about OC, but I'm going to include the DC candidates in there too for posterity. I see 3 OC and 2 DC candidates that are serious, right? Because like people will talk about Mike McCarthy, Jason Garrett. We're not talking about those guys. I'm not even including Cliff Kingsbury because I have come to learn that it seems the Cliff interest was more one-sided on the Cliff side than the Titans side. So I think obviously Mike McDaniel is an OC candidate if they could be so lucky to convince him to come here. Arthur Smith, I think, is firmly in that consideration. He no longer has a head coach or a team that he answers to. He is now actively interviewing for OC jobs.
Is he a free agent? Because he did a Zoom interview.
My understanding is that all of the Steelers coaches were told they're in the same holding pattern the Titans coaches are in, which is you can stay and try to work for the next head coach, but we will also not stop you from going somewhere else.
Right, but he had to do a Zoom interview because he's under contract in Pittsburgh until he is no longer, until either they hire somebody and don't retain him, or until they get an opportunity officially somewhere else. Right.
I think so.
Okay. Yeah.
So Arthur Smith and Brian Daboll, which I would not write off at all as a very real possibility. The Titans pretty recently talked to him, right? That was on Friday.
Friday.
Friday. Mm-hmm. DC's Raheem Morris, still out there. Not sure what he's going to be doing. I'm not sure if he because a lot of these just recently fired head coach guys fall into that category of they're on their buyout. They're probably not going to work unless they get another head coach job. They'll take a year. But guys like Brian Callahan, for example, are going to want to get back in there. It's really better for your career, for your pub, to be in sight and in mind instead of out of sight and out of mind. So Raheem Morris could be one of those guys. I kind of feel like he is. And Jonathan Gannon, same boat, right? You'd imagine both of those guys are probably wanting to stay in the mix. Titans interviewed both of those. So Mike McDaniel, Arthur Smith, Brian Daboll, we're keeping an eye on those guys. And on the defensive side of the ball, Raheem Morris and Jonathan Gannon. Although, an important note, defensive guys, you'd think those kind of guys would not favor a Titans job where Robert Saleh is reportedly going to be calling the plays.
Yeah.
I wouldn't, at least.
And Denard Wilson, I don't think, because Saleh is calling the plays, as you just mentioned, I don't think Denard Wilson is likely to stick around. He is also under contract. All the Titans coaches are under contract still, so that would have to be a not retained situation there under Saleh. If I were, so back to our question, what percentage chance did the Titans already interview the Robert Saleh offensive coordinator pairing? I I'm at like a 67% chance. Damn it, 68% chance.
Nice.
I didn't mean to do that. I did not mean to do that. I was trying to split 65 and 70.
Could have picked any word.
I'm going
any
to round
number.
up. 68% chance for me.
I'm going to go 75% chance. I probably was going to be around like a 50 or 60% chance because I did think that there was a really sleek way to go about this and potentially poach a guy like Clay Kubiak to start calling plays. Kyle Shanahan, since I put that out in the ether and it sounds like a couple other teams inquired about him, has put the kibosh on that very quickly, saying that they will block any and all moves for him to get another offensive coordinating job. Even though he doesn't call plays, Kyle Shanahan said, well, he calls some plays. So technically, so he is off the list. They are not going to let him leave, which makes me then think that you look at some of the guys on that list, like Easton said, and I think there are some candidates that you could.
Easton, you left out Matt Nagy.
You're right. I did leave out Matt Nagy.
So there are 4 offensive guys.
Good point.
Nagy, McDaniel.
I wrote this list down yesterday
Daboll.
before we knew that Nagy wasn't the head coach, so that's kind of important.
So Nagy, McDaniel, Daboll, and Arthur Smith.
Yep.
So there's 4 offensive guys, and I think I would probably be good with just about any of them. I don't know. Maybe the last would be Arthur Smith.
Oh, interesting.
Just because of fit. Like Arthur Smith is, like, is Cam Ward going to run that Ryan Tannehill?
Right.
Is that the right fit?
Probably not.
I don't know. Probably not.
I do think there is something to be said that you would, in an ideal world, I think you would want someone who's already called plays as an offensive coordinator, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
I think that's also why we're maybe a little more bullish on the idea that it is somebody that's on their list there, like a Daboll, like a Nagy, like a McDaniel, right? You don't want to go all in on this, on like a guy like Robert Saleh trying to pick the defensive side up and then start the wheels sputtering on the offensive side because you have a first-time play caller who just isn't clicking with Cam. Like, that's also a huge part of this that I think when we're talking about this the rest of the week, just in kind of going back to when me and Easton did our pros and cons, or I guess it was me and you did our pros and cons of Robert Saleh. The biggest con with Robert Saleh is what's the plan for Cam? And so certainly it's already up in the air as the biggest question. And it sounds like he had a big time wow factor plan for a guy like Cam Ward, but you kind of want to accelerate that by having a guy who has the experience.
So I think the biggest con for Robert Saleh is also the fact that if the offense, like, there is no middle ground of offensive coordinator under a defensive minded head coach. You're either good enough to get a head coach opportunity, or you're going to get fired. Like,
Bingo.
There's not, right. And so
I had this explicit conversation with a coach yesterday about how
I've been having that damn conversation since 2019.
No, I know. It's just funny that somebody without having brought it up kind of just brought it up to me, like, OC jobs are really 1-2 year max jobs now, which is true. You're not going to be an OC for more than 2 years.
Unless
you're either getting a head coach job or you're done.
McDaniels.
Correct.
Because you've already exhausted your opportunities as a head coach and you're untouchable. And so now you're just going to ride out the OC life for the rest.
It's like a dirty Santa gift, right?
You're
a white
Steve
elephant
Spagnuolo
gift.
Of the offense.
It's like if you have been stolen twice, you get locked in on your third. Like Mike McDaniel he's a white elephant gift that is already maxed out on his steals. Can no longer be stolen.
He's not. No, Mike McDaniel has not.
McDaniels.
Josh McDaniel is.
Excuse me.
Yeah. So, with Mike Vrabel, great. Because what did Mike Vrabel struggle with?
Of course,
it's the replacing of the coordinators year after year after year. But
for the rest of them, you're going up or down. It's an elevator.
Exactly. So, I might bump it up to 70% chance that Saleh's, because if you said Connor Orr, right? Connor Orr had the report that the extensive plan at offensive coordinator was what also helped Saleh go over the line for the Titans. Is he the open-mindedness of like, hey, if you want, you got, he goes, I know the list of guys you've interviewed. I'm cool with A, B, and C, maybe not D, but I'm cool with the top 3, whatever that is. And if it's Mike McDaniel, and I think Mike McDaniel is somebody that if you pay him enough and he's in a great enough spot, like, is Mike McDaniel going to be thrilled with being a offensive coordinator that's maybe the highest paid OC in the league with Robert Saleh and just chill with that and not have to worry about all the nonsense he had to deal with in Miami of Tua leadership this and Tua that and all this other nonsense stuff?
No.
Does he want to be a head coach again? Probably, right? He probably does, right?
Yeah.
So, but some people are like that. And then Matt Nagy, I think, is somebody that I've heard from people that is a good guy to have on your staff. Like, is Matt Nagy an opportunity to have come in as a position coach, or if maybe because Mike McDaniel might not be here very long. So what if you have Matt Nagy after that? Because Matt Nagy is kind of like Josh McDaniels, where he's kind of stinky and nobody else is going to hire him to be head coach. So you might have him for an OC for a while if it works.
I was going to say, there is also a point there where listen, we're in the new age of NFL football where there are 10 head coaching hires and there are only 2 AFC coaches that are still around since 2022. Things are moving incredibly fast. Who's to say that Mike McDaniel looks at his options now and let's say the only options available are the Arizona Cardinals or the Las Vegas Raiders or maybe the Cleveland Browns, and say, well, based on the precedent we're continuing to build here in the NFL, who's to say if I don't go take maybe a potential Ben Johnson route, a little accelerated there, go for 2 years, and then by that time, who knows what coaching opportunities are open, and I can just kind of pick and choose at this point. I think that's also something he could absolutely consider.
Yeah. So VolZX ZX says Nagy's not a good OC. I see MB says, why isn't any other team using that logic with Nagy? And Ray's asking, but is Nagy a good OC? And so it's a fair question because Matt Nagy's, we talked about this some yesterday. He doesn't want to call plays as a head coach, but we think he would call plays as an offensive coordinator, which is a step up. It has been known for a while that he was going to let that contract expire in Kansas City and go elsewhere, and the Chiefs were cool with that. They wish him well, and they already brought in Eric Bieniemy to replace him, to not call plays because Andy Reid does it. So we don't know. Do we know if Matt Nagy's a good
I don't
play
understand
caller?
the confusion on this at all. Like I saw Kaharski and others yesterday online being
like you are, and that's why. People don't.
Well, no, but even like I saw Kaharski pushing this yesterday, and I just don't understand what he and others are confused about. This idea, because this is the idea you're hearing. Is like, well, he made it very clear that if he's a head coach, he does not want to call plays. Be kind of weird if he really did want to call plays as an OC. No, it wouldn't. No, it wouldn't. The whole point of him getting out from under Andy Reid's wing in Kansas City is to further his career in some way, to work towards becoming a head coach again, which is what he wants to do. So a part of his sell as being a head coach is that I'm going to lean into the CEO things and not put too much on my plate for the various reasons therein. Of course, if he's a coordinator somewhere, he's not moving from a non-playing calling coordinator with the Chiefs to then being under the wing of some other guy who's probably worse at it because Andy Reid is a legend with another team. That doesn't make any sense. So if he's a coordinator next year, which I think he is working hard to become, he's going to be a play caller because he's trying to be a head coach again. I don't think this is hard. I don't really get what we're confused about.
I agree. And so Matt Nagy's extra background is as a quarterback coach. He was a quarterback coach prior to becoming an offensive coordinator. So is there a world of Mike McDaniel offensive coordinator, Matt Nagy quarterback coach for Cam Ward, who knows Pat Mahomes, was not a quarterback coach for Pat Mahomes. He was the quarterback coach in Kansas City with Alex Smith for 3 years. But it's obviously worked closely with Mahomes. So
I seriously doubt it. But I mean, listen, if you don't have any offers, you don't have any offers.
Because I don't know where Matt Nagy's going to go now. Right. And there's still a lot of dominoes to place and puzzle pieces.
Well, again, reminder, potentially 21 teams are looking for an OC. So there's a lot of fish in the sea. All you got to do is find one.
Yeah.
It would be a heck of a staff, though. Tell you
like a transfer portal.
It really would. It would be crazy.
Is Matt Nagy the latest college athlete to enter the transfer portal and accidentally ruin their career? We'll have to see.
Maybe.
Question. Quick question.
Okay.
Where do you think, where would you guess Mike McDaniel has the following jobs ranked? Because I think this is what he's considering right now.
Oh.
the Tennessee Titans OC, the Los Angeles Chargers OC, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers OC? Because I think that's really the question you have to ask yourself if you're serious about thinking McDaniel's going to be a Titan.
Okay. So list those three again.
Bucks, Chargers, Titans. Who would you
All
rather
coordinator
coordinate?
jobs.
All play calling coordinator jobs.
All right. First, let me tell you guys about Barton Drury Insurance Group, customized solutions for all of your insurance needs. They're local and can help you out with whatever you have going on with insurance, whether you need new, better health coverage. If you have a home or auto policy you want to save money on, but not sacrifice that level of coverage, Barton Drury can do that for you. They are big Titans fans, big sports people in general in the mid-state, and have a great support staff. So whether you need email correspondence, you need to jump on a phone call, they'll do a Zoom to walk you through the different options you have if you're a visual person, all these type of things. They're right there for us at AtoZSports because they've helped us through our employee health coverage options over the last 2 years and 2 cycles. They've had our workers' comp policy for our company for like 4 years, which is very important because as you hire people in different states all over the place, there are different state laws that don't jive, and you got to have a workers' comp policy for everything. So make sure that you know somebody, then you can trust somebody with your insurance needs. That is Barton Drury for us at AtoZSports. So check them out online, bartondrury.com.
Also, shout out one more time, powered by our friends at BTA Sports. BTA Sports, better for betters. Use that code, 14-day free trial, $79.99 after that for the entirety of the 2026 season. They help you beat the books. They're not a book. Once again, they help you beat the books and use them all 2026 long. BTA Sports is better for betters.
All right, so going through this, talking about Mike McDaniel, where he would rank. Yo, Adrian has a super chat. Says, I called it. Saleh for head coach. Go get Mike McDaniel as offensive coordinator. So, Easton, you had 3 offensive coordinator jobs. How would Mike McDaniel rank them between the Titans, the Bucks, and the Chargers?
Yes.
Right? So,
listen, he's interviewing for a whole lot of jobs, but I think,
yeah.
I'm not even going to tell you that the Titans are in his top 3. Frankly, I'm not sure that they are. But I think that in our conversation here, those are the other 2 jobs you need to measure up against.
Yeah.
I think that's fair.
If he doesn't get the Raiders head coaching job, if he doesn't get the Bills head coaching job, what other head coach job might he be in the running for? Browns? Has he done that?
Browns, yeah. He's got history there.
Yeah. So I think if I were Mike McDaniel, I think last would be the Chargers. Because it's the Jim Harbaugh show, man. Like, you are in such a massive shadow.
I disagree.
You disagree?
I do. I mean, Jim's not calling the plays.
No, I know. But he's just freaking Jim Harbaugh. He wants to run the ball and only have 7 possessions a game.
Jim Harbaugh's top coordinator got 100% interview rate from the
and his other coordinator got fired.
Yeah, because he stinks. So that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about good coordinators, not bad coordinators.
Okay, his defensive coordinator, Jim Harbaugh. I just think
he got interviewed by he got requested by every team. If I'm Mike McDaniel, who we've established like sneaky huge run scheme guy, I think the Jim Harbaugh show is exactly the situation I'd want to go to. Obviously, you want to coach Justin Herbert, but we know Harbaugh wants the identity of his team to be a sophisticated, efficient running operation.
Sure.
I think that's a place where he can excel. They've got a pair of good tackles who both died this year, but they're going to come back, and those guys are going to help you out. Like, I think if I'm trying to rehab my career, I would love that job if I'm Mike McDaniel.
It's not a bad option. I think it's third. I think first is probably Tampa, because you can say I can have this head coaching job in a year, or my shot at many other head coaching jobs in a year.
So we agree on first place.
Okay. I think the Titans are sitting in the middle, because I think Robert Saleh working with Robert Saleh has an appeal to Mike McDaniel. I just think Jim Harbaugh he's a different dude, man. Like, and McDaniel's a different dude, but Jim is weird, guys. Like, I don't know if you guys remember all the Jim Harbaugh stories from Michigan before Michigan became good under Jim Harbaugh, but he was like spending the night over at like kicker recruit's house for a slumber party in his khakis.
Cool.
Like drinking. He's just weird, man.
I love it.
Yes, but he's weird.
But you get, I mean, I know you said it. Like we're talking about Mike McDaniel.
I know.
Birds of a feather.
But Jim Harbaugh demands a lot and commands a lot of attention. And I
Also,
don't know if that's the right
I think-
place.
Yeah, he also
think-
wins. And if I'm
Sure.
Mike McDaniel, I want to go somewhere where we're going to win so I can be a coach again.
I
I
think
don't
there's
disagree.
also the idea that if we're getting into semantics, picking up your life and just moving to Tampa instead of all the way out to LA for a year or two, with the opportunity to potentially get the head coach job in Tampa after
True.
a year, could make more sense. And so that's
Hey.
kind of why I think
There's taxes.
exactly. I think they're very incredibly close the more you talk about it, because outside of the talent, like, yes, the Bucks and the Chargers have a heck of a lot more offensive talent there than they have with the Titans. But you talk about all the other things that could accelerate your career potentially. I think they're very much a closer fit than we're maybe making them out to be. I wouldn't put I agree with you. I'd put the Titans at like 2, and I would say the Bucks just because they're closer and there's an opportunity there to fast
Bucks,
track.
Titans, Chargers.
I think I'm not disagreeing with you that
and
the
Easton
schematic
goes-
Easton, it makes a lot of sense. But
If I am Mike McDaniel, Titans are clear third.
Okay.
That's not to say that I think there's no chance he may feel differently than I feel, and he may love Cam Ward, and he may love his boy Bob Saleh. And I think if he were to take the Titans job, it's going to be largely because of his unbridled faith in Cam Ward. It must be, because it's not an unbridled faith in the weapons that they have here right now, and an unbridled faith in Robert Saleh and thinking that they can work well together, which maybe that's enough. But if I were him and I was trying to pick the safest route to being a head coach again, I would not come to Tennessee.
I didn't know this, but hey, I mean, Easton, I don't know about you, but I'd want to coach with my best man, each other's best man in our weddings.
Oh yeah, we should reiterate the fact that these guys aren't like hey,
They're
I
each
worked
other's
with
best
that guy. It's not like that.
They're
It's like,
basically brothers. Don't you see the resemblance?
that's right, exactly.
So I don't know. I think I understand where you're coming from, Easton. I just think there's the relationship aspect of this, I think, holds a lot of weight.
Couple of minorities, Robert Saleh and Mike
But hey,
Daniel.
Okay.
But do you want to fire your brother if it goes down?
It's a thing that I don't think any of these coaches really think about on the front end, to be honest with you.
They should.
Nope.
But they don't,
But they should.
because they're planning on winning.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Super chat times, because we are not going to throw shade, because we got plenty of stuff to talk about and lots of things for the rest of the week. Going to have a very, very busy week here on AtoZSports as Robert Saleh. Not sure when he will be introduced to the Titans local media, but that'll be in the next couple of days, I'm sure. And then maybe they'll head down to Mobile, Alabama together to check out some draft prospects at the Senior Bowl. But time for some super chats and more comments from you guys. Shout out to Wilson County Hyundai. Make them a part of your new car buying process, Seaman, Lebanon, or online at wilsoncountyhyundai.com. They will help you out quite a bit with that new ride. Okay, let's stay with see if I can go chronological order here. So Amnesia had a $20 one early. Easton, do you think the offense will be pushed aside and the defense made a priority during this draft due to Saleh being defensive-minded coach? Are we looking at another year of terrible offensive moves and poor play? So that's addressed to you. So go for it.
Pushed aside? No.
Deprioritized.
Regardless of who they were going to hire as the coach, the defense was going to have to be a priority for a couple of reasons. First, they've been neglecting it for 2 years. So, the skeleton crew needs some renovation. They got a lot of money and a lot of draft picks, and they desperately needed to address it, even if I was the head coach. I think that Robert Saleh will have obviously an influence on this, and he'll want his defense to be up to more New York Jets defensive personnel standards than the end of this year's 49ers personnel standards when everybody was hurt and gone. And I also think that we're going to talk about this for the next 3 months, but the position they're in and the opportunity cost of the edge rusher position and this team's desperate, dying need for edge rush help was already going to be pushing them in that direction anyways. So we'll have to, it's all going to be, as it always is, dependent on which positions they choose to address in free agency, right? That paints the picture of what the draft is going to look like. You hope that you supplement with free agency, and then you address stars and core players and build, quote unquote, build through the draft. But if they're going to be doing that, then I think both the offense and defense will get love in the draft, because you need edge help badly and you need receiver help badly. Those are premium positions, and they're ones that I think folks in the Titans front office are more likely to address in the draft than they are in free agency.
Somewhat along the same line, John Line Music looks like they chose to invest in and build around their future of Big Jeff in this defense over Cam Ward. I completely disagree.
Yeah.
I said this, maybe it was the show or 2 days after the Mike Borgonzi press conference, right after the season ended, when he kind of laid out the foundation of what this search was going to be. When Easton, you asked the question, like, do we think the Titans know what they're looking for? My answer was, yeah, I do. I think they are putting the personality of the head coach above, in front of the quote unquote X's and O's of the head coach. They are looking for the CEO, standard setter, discipline, holding people accountable, all of these things over, can you scheme open these 2 wide receivers on 3rd and 7 and protect Cam Ward? I think they could find that with a lot of guys, but they wanted the right person. And I think Robert Saleh fits the personality of the head coach CEO, and they're still going to focus, which Cam needs too.
Yep.
No other thoughts?
No other thoughts. I'm on these thoughts when we're talking about draft stuff. Just start sending me down a rabbit hole of I'm starting to think about prospects. I can start to mock draft to the Titans and fits and
free agency. I got a couple.
You're getting me too far off topic for me to.
Amnesia, being the OC that turns this Titans offense around has a high pull, though. Imagine what that would look like on a resume. It's a 50-50 flip. Thinking about Mike McDaniel and how he would have this Titans job, which is true, right?
Yeah. Good luck.
Which is true. For sure. And then last super chat. Wait, no, not last super chat. I missed a couple.
You did.
No, wait, here we go. There we go. These have nothing to do with the Titans, though. Gonzo, off topic, but it would be comical if the Broncos called Tannehill and he stepped in for the injured Bo Nix and won the Super Bowl for the Broncos. Yeah, that's not going to happen. Austin Lammers asked, how much for shaved head, Easton?
Real answer?
Yeah. There's a price for everything.
Real answer is however much it would cost to cover the attorney fees for my divorce.
It grows back. I mean, good Lord.
But sickness and in health and baldness and long hair.
She probably wouldn't look me in the eyes for a month.
Just wait until you guys get to the age where you learn more about male pattern baldness.
Oh, yeah.
And see if that take still stands.
I would do it for $1,000.
$1,000.
I'd do it for a cool $1,000 in my pocket. Sure.
Yeah, I'm sure she'd be fine with that too.
She would. We would use some of that $1,000 to go purchase some new hats, and
you have plenty of hats.
I'd be hat heavy.
Plenty of hats.
You have too many hats.
Yeah,
I need to retire some. I got some old ratty hats I need to get rid of.
Okay, and then Jeff, of course, brings in this. He actually dropped a super chat before the show started.
Yes.
Before coach talk starts. Sorry. Congrats to Indiana on their first natty. College football runs to the Big Ten now, back to regular schedule program. So now you're pumping your Big Ten chest, Jeff. That's so ironic. Big Ten people that hate on the SEC for chanting SEC, when most people don't do that, are now going, yeah, Big Ten, Indiana's ours now. That's so
college
stupid.
Is so funny. It's like,
that's
pay no attention to the disappointments of my team.
God,
if my team dies, then I get to root for my conference.
The only reason why it's good for the conference is because in the Big Ten, the SEC, and the Big 12, you have to share that college football playoff revenue. In the ACC, Miami gets all of it.
That's right.
Which Miami get paid $3 million for their travel budget last night.
Directly into that Duke
their
kid's
quarterback
pocket.
Budget.
Yep, Mensa, right?
Yeah, because they got to pay off Duke. That's a different story.
Yeah. So actually, congratulations to Duke on that budget last night. It's heading to them.
Yeah. Gonzo says Notre Dame would have dog walked every team in the playoffs. I mean, I do think Notre Dame would have made it pretty far.
Notre Dame this year's
agree.
if man.
Yeah.
I also
Adventures
think
of
that
F-Man.
I also think that is your 2026 national champion.
Right in.
Next Notre Dame.
I'll put it in. I mean, hey, number 1 recruiting class or transfer portal class.
Marcus Freeman was on the broadcast last night.
He was. Big up for our friend Ryan Roberts over there, putting that on paper. So
That's right.
all right, let's get out of
Okay.
here.
Done? All right.
I think so.
Lots of stuff coming. AtoZSports.com/Nashville, all across our social media. Make sure you hit that like button. So many of you guys watching the show. We very much appreciate it. Robert Saleh is the head coach. We'll catch you guys later on. Buck Rising will be hungover tonight for prime time, but he'll be doing it fresh off of his national championship experience. That spoiled brat Buck Rising for prime time at 7. He'll see you then. We'll see you tomorrow in the morning. Catch you later. Thanks.